Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I did a poll on Instagram asking if you guys wanted me to do a story time of the time I got fired or prank calling jobs I don't have, which they were very neck and neck the whole time. So I'm gonna film both. I got fired from my job. This is recent actually, so it's still fresh kinda. I've made a video about it before of where I worked. I worked at Subway. For the company in total, I've worked for almost 3 years, which if I'm being honest, I really never planned on working there too long, but I just got comfortable. I feel like I have to backtrack a little bit. So what happened was we got a new manager. We'll call him Anthony, and when he took over, or when he was gonna take over at our store, we were training him, or he was like just at our store or whatever. And once I found out he was going to be manager, I was supervisor at the store at the time. So when I found out he was going to be manager, I was kind of bittersweet because I liked our manager at the time. But then I know he needed a new manager because like the manager at the time wasn't the best, if I'm being honest, when it came to putting her foot down. No hard feelings towards her. So yeah, before he actually took over, he would tell me like the stuff he was noticing and like in every worker and stuff, and I was so happy about it because I'm like, dude, like you're noticing the stuff I'm noticing, like our store's gonna be perfect. Little did I know, when he took over, he was just really strict, which was fine. I know we needed that, but I just felt like sometimes he was more strict about stuff that wasn't really like I got it, like I understand why he would get mad about some stuff, but it's like, really, there's more stuff you could be mad about. So yeah, once he took over, it was like okay at first. I want to say like a week after he took over, he started cracking down a lot. Like he said he was going to start getting on us about anything and everything that wasn't supposed to be going on. And he's really by the book, which is fine, but it was just a bit much. So when he took over, he was just basically putting his foot down, and like we had a meeting, and he was saying like from him taking over on out, he was not going to be playing no games, and like he was going to be calling people out for whatever they're doing or not doing, which was fine. So this is where, sorry if that was all confusing, but this is where it kind of starts taking place. There was another coworker I had, well, a coworker, we'll call her Stacy was a hot mess. Like nobody at our store, none of my coworkers before our new manager took over liked Stacy. She sucked. Like literally I always had to be on her because I was a supervisor, and literally I think the only day I didn't have to be on her was her first day. I just couldn't respect her because she's the type of person that when she would go to work, she would feel comfortable leaving without finishing her job. Mind you, before she even came to our store, she had already had assistant management experience for Subway, so I was like, oh cool, like she's gonna be good for a store. Little did I know, Stacy had already came from more than one Subway. She was getting dropped from Subways left and right because of reasons she didn't know. She told me one Subway she got kicked out of because she was a cigarette smoker, and I guess the people she worked with had a problem with her smell at work. So that's why they transferred her from that store. And then when she got transferred to one of our other stores, she told me that there was like a miscommunication with her having to call in. And so I guess they were mad at her and they started cutting her hours, and she couldn't be doing that because she has a son, so they transferred her to our store. So I felt bad for her. I'm like, dang, like, so you basically are having a hard time with the company or like with people you work with. So I actually felt somewhat bad for her. Literally after that first day, every day I worked with her, she would complain, say she didn't know what needed to be done. Mind you, she had assistant management experience. She didn't want to do certain stuff. Like she would say she wasn't going to clean the bathrooms, she wasn't going to do chips, which everyone has the same job. Like, we all do the same stuff. We have to clean the bathrooms, we have to do shit. So it was just really frustrating to me that she felt she didn't have to do the stuff we were doing or all the stuff we were doing. I couldn't take it no more, and one day, before I had to go to work, I wanted to go to the gym, and I called my old manager at the time, and I was like, hey, like, I just wanted to see if we were busy because I want to go to the gym before work, but if not, like, I'll be there on time. But I was just wondering, like, because usually, the time I had to go in, I could either gone at 3 or 3:30. I was scheduled at 3, but I was like, can I be there at 3:30? Like, 30 more minutes. And long story short, it was fine. She was like, yeah, they're slow, go ahead or whatever. And I get a call from my other coworker. I'll call her Luann. Oh, because I text Luann and I'm like, hey, I'm going to the gym. Our old manager said it was fine, like, for me to be a little late, just make sure. I told her, just make sure Stacy and our other coworker take their lunches or breaks before I get there. She texts me and she's like, hey, Stacy and so already took their break, so don't worry about it, it's all covered or whatever. And then I get another call and she's like, so Stacy's saying that she only took a 10, but that she's still supposed to take a 30, which, this is going to get kind of controversial maybe, but for anybody who has, like, a fast-paced job or a job in food, you might understand this. Because I don't know if all places are like this, but this is how, I've worked at 2 Subways, this is how both the Subways I worked at were. If you work over 6 hours, you get a 30. Under that, you get a 10 if wanted. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at Subway, you either get, like, if you work over 6 hours, you get a 30, but you don't get a 10. Like, I know you're out by law, you're allowed both, but I'm just saying, at Subway, we didn't do that. Whoever doesn't agree with that, I mean, it's just the way it was ran or whatever. So, Luann calls me and she's like, hey, Stacy's saying that she already took her 10, but that she has to take a 30 too. And I'm like, if she knew she had to take a 30, why is she barely saying it now? And why did she take a 10 if she knows she has a 30? And Luann's like, oh, I don't know, but, I don't remember what she said, but I was like, you know what, just tell her it's fine, she could just go home early so she doesn't have to take a 30, because she only worked, like, 7 hours, so I'm like, we didn't even really need her, so I was like, just tell her she could go home early, and she doesn't have to worry about taking a 30. So then I get a text from Stacy while I'm at the gym. Hey, I just wanted to know why I'm getting sent home early. I'm allowed a 10 and a 30 by law. And I was like, and I was probably more meaner, I don't remember. If I had a text, I'll add it. And I was like, this is like a real big inconvenience, not only for me, but for Luann too, because I was told it was okay for me to be late, and I know I'm scheduled at a certain time, and I promise you I told her that. I was like, I know I'm scheduled at 3, but so-and-so, our old manager, approved me to be there at 3:30 so I could go to the gym because we were slow. So it's an inconvenience not only to me, but it's an inconvenience to Luann, because now I have to go early just so Luann doesn't have to stay later so you could take a 30. So I was so mad, and I don't remember everything I told her. Like I said, if I have the text, I will put it in there. But all I remember is I called Luann and I was like, look, when I get to the store, I'm going to talk to Stacy, and I need you to be outside with us as a witness just in case anything is said wrong, anything, whatever. I get there, I told Stacy, hey, come on, let's go outside. Luann, come on. And I basically let her have it. I told her I wasn't going to be doing this every day, because it was every time I worked with her. I was like, I'm not going to be doing this with you every day. Like, if you're going to be here, you need to work. Plain and simple. I don't want to hear you're not going to do something. I don't want to hear you want to go home early. Mind you, this hoe took the bus, so that was her main reason why she always had to go home or wanted to go home, because she didn't want to miss her bus or have to rush to the bus, which wasn't my problem. If you want a job, you gotta do the job. I don't care if you have to take the bus. I'm not gonna be doing this. If I hear you want to go home early, you're not gonna do something, you're getting sent home. I'm not doing this every day with you. And I was heated. I was just like letting her have it, and she was trying to defend herself, like, oh, it's because yeah. Cut it real short. That was that. And then when she was gonna leave, I still sent her home early. So when she was gonna leave, she was like, hey, can I talk to you before I leave, because I need to talk to you. So I'm like, yeah. She's trying to once again defend herself and tell me why the way she is or the way she works. And I'm like, whatever. We were talking for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes, me just telling her everything. Like, dude, people would talk about her when I wasn't even at work. Like, that's how bad she was. And so I told her everything. I told her, do you want to know everything everybody's saying? Like, I let her know everything. And I'm like, and if anyone's lying, I have no reason to lie. If anyone's lying, me, you, and that other person could sit down and talk about it. Like, I have no problem doing that. And she was like, no, I promise, I'm gonna prove myself to you and to everybody. And I will be 100% honest. Her first couple days after that talk that we worked together, she was doing good, like real good. And I would even tell her, like, dude, like, I appreciate you working. Like, I would tell her, I promise. And so literally after a couple of days I worked with her, she was doing good. And then she just started going back to square one. And then our new manager took over, and he was already noticing everything that was wrong with everybody, like stuff that people needed to work on. And he noticed this stuff about Stacy, and I was like, you know what, like, my biggest thing about me being a supervisor with our old manager is whenever I put my foot down with somebody, she wouldn't back me up. And he was like, oh no, like, if there's reasoning to you needing to be backed up, I will back you up. Like, and he would always tell, like, it's kind of hard for me to feel a way towards him because yes, he fired me. He's the one that fired me. But me as a worker and a person, like, I understood why he fired me. Like, and we'll get to that. But when he took over, he noticed everything about everybody, and he was just like telling me that he was gonna tell everybody or whatever. So cut down a couple weeks, literally like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after he took over. There was a day, I forgot what happened, but it was like a couple of days before leading up to a certain day. I was just always getting on Stacy about having to do her job, not leaving without finishing her job, and a bunch of stuff. So one day, we had a store meeting when our new manager took over. And she had the nerve to basically anything she does that's like wrong to everybody, like how she doesn't want to do certain stuff, she was trying to say people need to quit doing that. And all of us like looked at each other and were like, I felt like she knocked the air out of me. I was speechless. I was like, no, you're saying that right now? Oh, okay. And I actually laughed a little, but I tried to hold it in. And so after that day, I was like, F this. Like, I'm gonna, and I don't see it, cause she tried to make it seem like I was bullying her, but I'm not about to be babysitting someone to work. Like, you should know what you need to do. So after that day, I was on her. To the point where people were assuming I didn't like her, which I didn't like her. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't like her, but it was because she was a shitty worker. If she was a good worker, I would have nothing wrong to say about her. And I told that to her in her face. If you were a good worker, I would have nothing wrong to say about you. But you don't show me that. It was to the point to where people were saying that I didn't like her. And this guy we were trained to be an inspector, he said that he told our new manager that he didn't know what I had against Stacy, but that I was bullying her, which me bullying her is me telling her to work. Okay, I'm a bully, and you could ask all my coworkers when I got fired were mad, cause they're like, what? You over her? Like, they were mad. Like, I got texts the next day, like, I can't believe it. Like, they were mad. One day, the day, I had to be on Stacy so much that, she was getting mad that I was basically making her work. And I even did some of her work that day, because we have certain jobs as shifts, like certain shifts have certain jobs. And we were both mid-shift, but we both have a list, so we split the list half and half, and I did my list and some of her list. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go on my break right now. When I come back, this list should be at least started or done, because we weren't that busy. Mind you, when I came back, they were busy, so I was like, it's fine. But mind you, she only had like 3 more things to do, 3 or 4 more things, and but she was almost off the clock, so she was like, hey, I only have this left, but I'm gonna take a smoke break real fast, which, like I said, she was a smoker. She wanted a break like every hour, like 2 breaks every hour just to smoke. It was so annoying. Like, I only have like 3 more things to do, but I'm gonna take a smoke break and then I'm almost off. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Take your smoke break, and then when you come back to finish, I told her to do, I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 things, but I told her to do, if it was 3, I told her to do 2 things, and then I was gonna do the last thing, which I forgot what it was, but it was like chips, and when I told her that, I was like, you just do those 2 things and I'll do the last one. She like gave me this look like, wow, like, you're really gonna make me do that? Like, if she had did so much already, like that type of look. And I was just like, oh my god. Luckily, my other coworker showed up, and I was like, you know what? We'll call him Dan. I was like, Dan, clock in. I'm sending her home. So he clocked in. I went outside. She was smoking. She was on the phone. And I was like, hey, don't even worry about doing what you had to do. Just go home. I'm sending you home. And she just looked at me and she was like, and she turned back around. And I was like, oh. And mind you, I went back inside and I was helping a customer, and she was still out there the whole time I was helping the customer. So I was like, you know what? I'm clocking her out.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
So I clocked her out, and literally right after I clocked her out, she came in like 2 minutes after, and she was gonna clock out, and I was like, I already clocked you out. She didn't do shit. She just walked out. 30 minutes later, I get a call from our other supervisor. We'll call her Mom, because she was the mom. Mom called and she's like, hey, dude, you're gonna lose your job over this. Like, you can't clock her out. That's against the law. She could sue the company, like, da-da-da-da. And she was just like blowing my ear. And she was like, it's not worth losing your job over someone you don't like. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting so tired of all these saying I don't like her. Like, it's not that I don't like her. Like, I would have nothing against her if she was a good worker or got her shit done, but she didn't. Like, how can you expect someone that doesn't do their job? Like, what are you here for? Why are you getting the same pay that I'm getting if I'm doing more than you? Like, that was my biggest thing, and that was everybody's thing. Like, nobody liked her. Like, we used to have meetings just about her. And like, I remember one time my old manager, she was saying that that Stacy thought nobody liked her, and that our old manager was like, oh no, like, I'm sure and I was like, no, I'm telling you right now, I talk to everybody here, nobody likes her because she sucks. How's that bullying? Like, you have a job to do. Yeah, so my other mom was like, hey, you're gonna lose your job, whatever, and I was like, fuck, because I was already on thin ice because I had been late, and our new manager got on me, and he was like, you know what, you're a good worker, but you being late, that's a problem. Like, He's like, you're a good ass worker. I have nothing bad to say about you, other than you need to be more mean and not so nice to the coworkers, because he said I would be too nice, but I try to do my job and I get fired. But anyway, he's like, you need to be more mean, not so nice, and not be late. So I already had write-ups for being late, and when Mom told me I was gonna get fired, I was like, I'm gonna get fired, because I already had write-ups. But I was like, you know what, maybe not. The next day, I was off, and I get a call to go to the store, and I sit and talk to the new manager, and he's like, you know, you called me when all that went down, and you said, hey, I'm gonna send her home. I told you it was fine, which he did. He's like, but you left out one part. And he's like, did you clock her out? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, see, you know, that's where we have a problem, because that's against the law. Like, if that was me, he said, like, if that was me, like him, they would fire me. Like, no questions asked. Like, she could sue us and the bitch. But she was already in the process of suing, I think, one Subway. Or, no, yeah, like, she's suing a Subway, so they were like, we can't take no chances. Well, he didn't say all that right then and there, but he was just like, you know, from today on for a week, you're suspended. And he's like, but, do you have the store key? And I was like, he's fucking lying. Because they had fired another coworker before me, and they took her, like, they did this exact same thing, suspended her and fired her within suspension. So when he said I was suspended and he asked me for my key, I was like, suspension or fired? And he was like, well, we still have to go over your file and see how many write-ups you have and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. But bitch, I knew. And I was so pissed, because the whole time I was talking to him, the bitch was in the back making customer don't mind my room, it's dirty, but she was in the back making customer sandwiches, just listening to him talk to me. Oh, I just wanted to spit on her, throw a chair at her. I wanted to walk behind the counter, and like, I'm not violent, but I was just so mad. But, and I told him too, and because he was like, we had a big talk, but you guys don't need to know all that. He was like, you know, how would you like if it was you that got clocked out? And I was like, you know, I have been clocked out before. I didn't know it was legal. And I've been clocked out before, but the difference between me and her is, if I'm getting clocked out for a reason, I'm going to take that. I'm not going to be a bitch and go complain about it. Like, if I know I'm getting clocked out for a reason, I'm going to take that. And that was he said I was suspended, whatever, took my key, and when I was going to leave, he tried shaking my hand, which I probably should have shook his hand, but I couldn't. So I just left, and I knew that I was going to be fired, and coworkers knew, like, we knew, but we were just still kind of hoping. Like, I'm telling you, my coworkers were mad. But yeah, like, I want to say I got suspended on a Thursday, and that next Tuesday, I got, like, basically money got put in my account on a Tuesday, which we get paid every other Tuesday, but it was a Tuesday before we got paid. So I was like, what the fuck? And it was like a work card, like a debit card that your work gives you. So I was like, the only money that, I'm so sorry, my camera cut off, but yeah, so I got suspended on a Thursday. That next Tuesday, I got that money put in. So I was like, is this my last check? So I text my new manager, and I was like, so I'm assuming I'm fired because I got a check put in and we don't get paid till next week. And he was like, he texted me like an hour or two later, I think. And he was like, yeah, I'll call you. No, he didn't say yeah. He was just like, I'll call you later to explain more details. And I was like, oh, okay. Dude, that was at 2. I didn't get nothing. And it was like 6. And I screenshotted it to like send it to someone else to like show them that he hadn't called me yet. And instead of sending it to that person, I sent it to him. So, right after I sent it to him, he called me, and yeah, he was like, yeah, like, we have to let you go because what you did was illegal, blah, 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 and I was like, you know, I understand it's legal, but I was like, I just don't think it's fair that I'm being terminated or whatever. And it was just like a whole talk, but like, I don't know. It's not really important to say. But all I will say is I busted my ass for that company, and if anybody hire, because this might sound funny, but like people at work used to watch my videos, like when I would post. Like they were actually subscribed to my channel at work. Like we had our own work computer. So, if anyone from the up higher sees this, I just want you guys to know that I busted my ass for this company, and many people know that. My coworkers know that. People that don't even work there anymore know that. Like people even would tell me, like, you don't even deserve you at that job. Like you need to find a better job. Which I did find another job. It's still on food, but it's better than Subway. It's like a sports bar, I'll say that. But yeah, all I will say is I know I busted my ass for that company. I know what I got fired for wasn't really a reason to me. Like I feel like it's so stupid, but I mean, I understand if it has to do with the law. Like I ain't trying to go to prison, bitch. I ain't trying to get sued because, you know, I ain't got money like that. So, you know, I understood, but I was like, I can't be transferred or something, you know? But, yeah, I mean, I don't really care no more. I miss my coworkers, but, I mean, it's whatever now. I have another job. Sorry, I feel like this video is kind of a downer, but you guys wanted to see it. Hopefully it's not too long, and hopefully you watched it through the whole thing. Let me know what you guys think, cause I mean, I don't care, but it's still crazy to me. Like, damn, I got fired. Like, I never thought I would get fired from them. And honestly, I think if we would have not got that new manager, I would still be there. Like, it was just him. Like, she made it look so bad, like I was bullying her, that I felt like that's really what I got fired for. But it's fine. Oh, all I will say though about Stacy, oh girl, if you see this, I don't have respect for you. I think you're real low for feeling comfortable about getting someone else fired when you're a shitty ass worker and a shitty ass person. And I honestly, I'm trying not to be too mean, but I honestly hope whatever you deserve coming to you comes quick. Oh my god, my camera keeps cutting off. It keeps saying it's getting hot. For Stacey, I hope you get what you get coming to you. You're a shitty ass person. You look like Sid from Ice Age, and I honestly hope your tires on your bike pop, and I hope the bus you take runs your foot over. I won't wish death upon anybody, even though, like, I really want to, but, you know, I won't. I hope you get your foot ran over or something and hope the tires on your pop break, and I hope your son's teeth, all of them fall out. Okay, bye. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Easy face. Bitch, fuck the bitch. Bitch get sick, I'ma cut the bitch. I'm a bad bitch, suck some dick. If that bitch gets sick, I'll cut the bitch. I'll cut up the bitch, I'll gut the bitch. Had to fuck up the bitch, man, fuck the bitch. Won't shoot her, but I will gun butt the bitch. When we say fuck the bitch, dick up the bitch. She was stuck up, so my nigga stuck up the bitch. Still dragging her, so don't pick up the bitch. Hit the combination.